Kate Delaney here on CEO Money. Pleasure to hang out with all of you. And our guest in the studio is Robert Allen, Senior Manager, CBIZ Valuation Group. And it's interesting, we were talking with Robert off the air, so I'm going to peel back the onion a little bit. That's the big secret. When you come in the studio, you get to have some chit-chat beforehand. So his area of expertise includes business valuation and tangible asset valuation, value enhancement consulting, and he's valued closely held businesses and partnerships in a variety of industries for a variety of purposes. And what we talked about that was so interesting was that transition period and making the transition, which sometimes falls on the floor, frankly, when you don't do it right with businesses, especially when we're talking about families. And Robert Allen has 17 years of financial advisory and valuation experience, so that's a whole lot. Robert, thanks for coming in today. We appreciate it. And let's talk about the family business since I threw it out there first, and then we'll get into some other things. But what do you see happening there? Because it's really critical. Otherwise, you start to kill off what often is a business, a legacy that was built up.
Yeah. First of all, Kate and Ed, thanks for having me. A larger portion of our business is related to families that own a business. The generation that has been running the company is reaching the point where, as I say, voluntarily or involuntarily, they're going to exit their business, and they've got to figure out what to do. And sometimes that plan has been fleshed out and laid out well in advance, and it's just a matter of executing the plan. Other times, maybe they had a preconceived notion that they were going to pass it to their kids, and when they get to that point and ask the kids say, you know what, I'm not really interested in being a business owner. And at that point, a lot of families sort of go into turmoil, and now they're in a fire sale situation because the current owner wants to get out, and they're trying to scramble and maybe talking to private equity folks and just looking at whatever options might be available to them.
Hey, and private equity guys love talking to guys like that, especially yours truly, because we've done that. But
Yes.
I had our own personal story. We had a guy that we were looking to buy a business from in Georgia. He had owned a Chevrolet dealership or a series of dealerships or in different areas since 1949. That family had been in that business, and none of their children wanted that business. And all of a sudden, you're in a situation where the parents are hurt, everybody's hurt. Then you got to go value it, and they think it's worth one thing. We think it's worth something else. Talk about situations like that.
Yeah, a lot of times I'm the bearer of bad news because, business owners, they've put blood, sweat, tears, they've put their lives into businesses, and sometimes when they think about what it's worth, they put what I call an emotional premium on the value. But, that's where I think we can be most beneficial is to give them a third-party outside looking in perspective before they get to the point of actually talking to a prospective suitor. We can help them see, okay, here are the things that really drive the value of your business. Here are the things that from a third-party perspective look like risks and detract from the value of your business. We can be sort of it's easier to have that conversation with us than with someone who's actually potentially going to be writing them a check.
Boy, no kidding, huh? New tax laws, we're talking about that a lot. People want to know what the implications are. What's the impact on private company valuations?
What we see is that folks are still trying to wrap their minds around what does it mean for us? Because it's not just simply a lowering of a tax rate. There are lots of bonus depreciation rules that impact businesses, the deduction of pass-through income, and whether or not a company is correctly structured to take advantage of certain tax provisions now. Folks are just really grappling with and trying to understand what does this mean for us. I think the market in general has told us that the lowering of the tax rate from 35 to 21% for C corporations has an immediate pop in value, and that translates to privately held businesses as well. So we're having a lot of those conversations right now with our privately held company.
Boy, I bet you are.
clients.
And so obviously that pop is a great pop, but it's what you do with then that percentage that goes down, right?
Yeah, I mean, it can be a great pop. Sometimes a seemingly overnight increase in value can present planning problems the same way that a decrease in value can. So it's really just understanding what's our business worth and what does that mean in our overall personal financial picture, and then what sort of planning do we need to do in order to most efficiently manage our wealth and hopefully pass it to the next generation in whatever manner they choose to do that.
Well, the next generation prefers cash. We've already figured that out. Robert, how important is it for people who are planning or going through this process to talk to someone like you first before they decide to either put their business on the market or entertain any acquisition opportunity?
Well, again, I kind of view us as being the safe zone for them to just flesh through and kind of understand, okay, what is my business worth, and why is it worth that, and what are some of the things that maybe a business owner thought certain things were of benefit, they were an asset within the business, and come to find out from a third-party perspective, that may actually be a detriment. So, we're a safe place to help them understand and at least be aware of those characteristics before they get into conversations with folks that are potential buyers.
We only have a minute left or so, but this is a pretty big question. So you're a valuation consultant, let's say, and you're working with them, all the reasons we just talked about that are, I think, so valid. But how do you work with the business's existing team of advisors? Because, there's that territorial thing.
Yeah. It's actually really important for us to work with their other advisors. So, we're usually brought in. It's usually a transactional type situation, and we're never going to understand as much as their long-term advisors.
So there you go. So you work with them, in other words.
Yes.
Excellent. Robert Allen, thank you so much. Thanks to everybody for listening. We'll see you again tomorrow on CEO Money.